Let's continue to bring you more around the impact of the avian bird flu. The South African Local Government Association is now calling on Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana to remove VAT on poultry products. They say it's to avoid price hikes due to high demand. It comes as the country's poultry industry grapples with avian flu, which has affected egg-laying birds. Let's get more on this. We're joined by Chairperson of SALGA in KwaZulu-Natal, Thami Ntuli. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. You're saying that the impact on households has been detrimental, and you'd like to see the Finance Minister making some adjustments. Talk to us about what you're calling for.
Good morning to yourself and the viewers, and thank you for having me. SALGA in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, in fact, the human kind, the ordinary citizen, are affected by this strain of bird flu, since the prices of the poultry and the poultry products has increased, impacting on already suffocating ordinary citizens. Because you know that when you talk about poultry, it consists of 60% of the meat bucket consumed by the ordinary citizens. And even the food basket is almost 5,000. You just imagine for unemployed people, poor people, how do they survive? And you are of the view that the poultry, like all other stable food, needs needs to get a relief on the tax, on the VAT. If there can be a curve of 15% tax not to be implemented in poultry and poultry-related products, that in fact at least will have the ordinary people being able to access essential proteins that they require. You know that amongst the meat that people consume most now is the poultry. And even the egg industry has been hit hard by this bird flu, since almost 8.5 million poultry that are laying eggs have been affected. And we're of the view as SALGA that something ought to happen, because we are also affected as local government when the households is no longer affording because of the escalating prices of what they consume. They end up not even honoring their debts with the municipalities, indirectly causing municipalities not to be able to pay for ESCOM bills and even the water boards. That is why then we are saying to try and mitigate the circumstances so that even the local producers will not be affected negatively. The minister needs to consider the issue of the zero tax on the poultry product.
In those considerations, do you see this being a permanent or temporary move? And perhaps expand a little bit on the flexibility and adjustments around the VAT Act when it comes to essential food items.
Well, you recall that in the past, a zero VAT was introduced to the sanitary powers due to the circumstances. This is not going to be a new thing altogether, which we are calling for as SALGA in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. We believe that it happened, and is something that can be compensated by the luxury things, wherein even if people may not have them, they will be able to live. But for this, since it's a basic food that even poor people relies on, we are of the view that as SALGA, something needs to be done urgently, so that we afford the ordinary citizen an opportunity to have access to the essential proteins.
And we know that the poultry industry is essentially the largest agricultural sector in South Africa in terms of its contribution to the GDP, around 16%. When it comes to this proposal, are you saying that it should, specifically cater now towards locally produced chickens so that it can benefit South Africans?
Absolutely. South Africa is receiving almost 30% of the poultry imported, especially from Brazil and USA. And in those countries, if you follow how are they funded, you'll find that that is not the case. The producers, actually, you'll find that that is not the case with South Africa. As a result, the local producers here, they are facing a huge problem. Hence, if this can be directed to the local producers, it will enable them even to survive despite this strain which has impacted the poultry industry.
You speak about local producers, and we're also learning of the numerous small farmers who are able to produce eggs, but of course red tape and gatekeeping when it comes to entering the market. We also know that government are speaking about finding fertilized eggs overseas. What's your take on that?
Well, we were of the view as SALGA that already when you talk about the local producers, they have been affected by many factors, such as the issue of load shedding and even the recent increase to the fuel prices. They are all negative factors on their activities. And hence, if this zero tax can be implemented, it will enhance at least the activities that they are engaging on, so as to be able to produce for the consumers, so that they will also not be suffocated by the imports which are coming from the outside of South Africa.
Very well. So in terms of effecting this move, how advanced are your conversations with the Finance Minister? How are you hoping that this consideration will indeed be made?
In fact, SALGA and the KwaZulu-Natal will be looking at the NCOP and also the NEC and other provinces, so that we all make the same call, and we are of the view that if then we can work together to communicate this message, we'll be in a position to prevent something which is coming, which may be very catastrophic even to local government.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, Chairperson of SALGA in KwaZulu-Natal, Thami Ntuli, trying to find some solutions when it comes to the big impact that the avian flu is having on the poultry sector, saying and calling for a VAT reduction here, saying that value-added tax must be put at zero to safeguard the vulnerable households against hunger.